topic is very crucial for Africa. For me, I'm very sure the new president in Nigeria will do very well, because as we have seen, he has he has reshuffled the cabinet. He has shut away all those corrupt ministers. We have been hearing about them. So I think it is just a small number of people who are hating him. But I think the more percentage, they like him. But what we need is he should not be to the other side, to the corrupt side. He should show, all African leaders that he can. As you know, Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa, so they should set an example. Rather than, involving themselves in the corruption like other countries. We need really to have peace in Nigeria, and also the economy should go very, very high, because it is one of the most richest countries in Africa, Shaka.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Well, you have heard, of course, public opinion from the African continent, and it frankly seems to somehow reflect a perception there that you cannot expect Nigeria, at least not the way it is constituted, to hold a credible election. Why is there such a perception, Professor?
Because if you've not done something before, or you've only done it once in 50 years,
and it wasn't accepted,
it wasn't accepted, then they have a right to insult us, as one guy insulted us.
Don't you think they have a right, especially given, frankly, that you are the most populous nation on the African continent?
Look, I think we can do it. Ambrose from Uganda talked about international observers in rural areas. The best observers of a particular election are the voters themselves.
That is true, but we should point out though that in the last election, in 2007, they were there, and their verdict, frankly, was that the election was neither free, nor fair, and certainly not credible.
It is not the international observers. They can be in there. But again, I want to emphasize that the best observers in a particular election are
the people
voters
themselves.
So that's the first thing. The other issue about this issue of youths and so on in elections, there are various levels of governance in Nigeria. Again, presidential, national assembly, state assembly, local government election. So there is opportunity for everybody. Many of the governors who came, for example, Jonathan himself turned 50 while he was a vice president. There are Yar'Adua is just merely 58, 59. He's just 4 or 5 years older than myself. But I consider myself young. I think the important thing, I think the important thing, Mr. Shekasali, is that the people and the civil society must hold INEC accountable first, even to its own deadline.
The government accountable? Well,
not because as far as elections are concerned, INEC with its own deadline. For example, INEC will say between April 17 and May 17, there is going to be voter registration. And then between May 17 to June something, we will display the voter registration. Come the time when there's supposed to be registration, you won't see places to register. Come the time when they're supposed to do display, you won't see voter displays. And yet people will now wish to go to the election. I think there must come a time when Nigerians will say, listen, we're not going to boycott the elections, but there will be no elections if this and that and that and that are not done. Because if you do not have voter registers known to everybody, then that is a sure recipe for rigging.
So, Lanre, instead of holding only INEC responsible, why not the government really? Because when the election is being rigged, for example, INEC officials corroborate with other aspects of the government. You see, sometimes it is the military, it is the police running away with the ballot boxes, correct?
No, they have their thugs, but the beneficiaries of stolen goods cannot go after the person who is agent. Iwu is an agent of those in power today. So what
But
the Nigerian people, that's the point.
Person, yeah,
First of all, let me, all our brothers who spoke passionately, I don't feel insulted. All you said was the
except
truth.
that we need to hear from the sisters too, by the way.
Yeah,
Just don't.
all the brothers, I want to thank you so much. My country has disappointed.
Sure.
Not only you, but many, many of us. And whose fault it is? It is our fault. We need Rollins in Nigeria.
What do you mean you need the rolling?
We need someone.
You mean
Ghana
Vice
today.
President Jerry?
Oh
John
yes,
Rawlings?
let him start from Otta to Mina. Let Rollins. I'm praying for somebody like Rollins to start from Otta to Mina, and then all these people. That is when Nigeria can now begin to see the light of the day, what Ghana is witnessing now. For Ghana, I want to thank the leader of your INEC, whatever you call it.
Well, you have to hold it, unfortunately, again, because time is not our best ally. We have to go for a break. You're tuned into Straight Talk Africa. In a moment, we'll return to your comments and questions. The number to call is 202-619-3111. The US country code is 1. Remember to give our operator your country code and city code if you want us to call you back, so please don't go away.
While acting Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan is in Washington, Ibrahim Babangida, the powerful Northern Army general who ruled Nigeria for 8 years, says next year he will be a candidate for the ruling People's Democratic Party, which is also Mr. Jonathan's party. Jonathan, who is a Southerner, is unlikely to run in 2011 because of an unwritten agreement among the political elite that the presidency rotates between the North and South every 2 terms. So here is our question of the week. Should acting President Goodluck Jonathan run in next year's scheduled election in Nigeria? Send an email to africatv@voanews.com and let us know.
Welcome back to In Focus right here on the Voice of America.
Hello, I'm Dimyake Mwakalialia.
And I'm Vincent McCory. In Focus is going to offer the audience what many other television outlets are not able to offer. We're going to tell you the story behind the story.
What happened, how it happened, why it happened.
Oh, Jamaica is great.
East or West, home is best. My co-host, Vincent McCory, encyclopedia, I call him.
Being able to look around what's happening around the world and help people to get a better understanding.
Did you like today's show? Write and tell us what you think, or give us some suggestions. And tell us on what station you're tuned into. Here's our address. Straight Talk Africa, Voice of America, 330 Independence Avenue, Southwest, Washington, D.C., 20237, USA. Or send us an email at africatv@voanews.com. Log on to our website, www.voanews.com/TV2Africa. Letter of the Week. Harrison Oyema Imu of Makerere University in Kampala, Uganda writes, the incredible steps being undertaken by different factions in the Sudan by SPLM, Umma Party, and others present majestic attempts to avoid incessant bloodshed, suffering, kidnapping, and all sorts of ordeals that the citizens of Sudan, particularly the Southerners, have witnessed. The truth is, the two governments should not link up in any way except respect to territorial integrity. This, therefore, calls for immediate response from the international community to reorganize elections only for the Southern government. The relationship between the two governments is souring, and thus its aftermath presents a protracting state of political turmoil and violence.
Thanks, Harrison, for responding to last week's question of the week on Sudanese opposition groups boycotting the elections. Welcome back to Straight Talk Africa on the Voice of America. Just a reminder, we would like to hear from you, so drop us a line at africatv@voanews.com. And maybe, just maybe, your letter can be read on air as a letter of the week. Our email address is africatv